Welcome back from that break, and it's good to know you have rejoined us again on the program. Good morning, Abuja, showing right now and right here, only on the Unity Station NTA Channel 5, Abuja. And now to my very first conversation on the program this morning. Yes, we have a very interesting personality with us in the studio this morning, a friend of the house. We've been talking about social worker, how they can bring about their impact to help develop our nation as a Nigeria. And it will also interest you to know that this guest I'm about to bring to you is visually impaired, and we are going to look at ability in disability. Help me welcome Weke Ifeanyi Emmanuel to the program. Emmanuel, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, ma.
Yes, okay. You know, you have been with us on this program and we have looked at series of things, how you came up to this level, how you even graduated with a first class. That was a wonderful story you gave to us. But you also talked to us about social worker, different aspects of social work, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. To continue with our discussion and to bring it to a wrap, now that we have started the series, please can you help us recap it all again, what social work is all about?
Social work actually entails providing service
Okay.
to those who could not get it. So it's an academic field and a practice-based profession.
Okay.
So elevating the plight of the suffering. So social workers actually they are mediators. So we broker, that to say, we mediate between client and the resource system. So they actually, as a social worker, one ought to be acquainted with relevant information.
Okay.
Social workers are policy makers. There are different specialties in social work. Now, within the Nigeria here, social workers are not being licensed to practice.
Wow.
But outside the world, outside Nigeria here, as a social worker, you'll be licensed, just like the medical doctor. So that makes it MSW, that is Master of Social Work.
Okay.
Unlike what we get here, MSc.
Okay.
So social work, actually, like in the medical setting now, medical social workers, these persons actually, okay, I once volunteered with an NGO that's into cancer awareness. So it tends to actually bring down anxiety. Cancer clients, let them know get to know the needs of the client and let them actually do what they ought to do to alleviate the fears. Because most times, imagine someone going for cervical cancer screening, the person will be nervous. So this will tense the attention of these persons.
Okay. Now, Ifeanyi, let's bring it down to you as a person now. What area of specialty do you want to go in?
Yes. So, I want to look at the children and youth.
Children and youth.
In conjunction with the aged.
Okay.
Persons with disability.
Okay. Why did you decide to go for children and youth and the aged?
Yes. As a visually impaired person.
Okay.
But vision oriented.
Wow. Full of vision. So
now, navigating these hurdles, it's challenging. Now, as a child, the different perspective of these persons with disability, different cluster. So let me be specific of visually impaired persons. Now, a child who is born blind has a perception, have a different view of life. Then those who actually experience visual impairment, probably at adolescent or their old age, they have a different view of it. So me, now, from experience, I've seen the light before it turns into dark. Wow. So living both sides of life, I strongly, I can share my experience and I know what it entails to navigate both axes, from the north to the south pole. Okay. Now, talk to us about, before we came up here, we discussed behind the camera and you told me about your NGO. Now, talk to us about the plans that you have for your NGO. Yes. Okay. As a visually impaired person, I have encounters with non-profit organizations. There are modes of operandi. It differs from what people see. That Goldman in his book actually talked about, social awareness, empathy. So being able to put yourself in one's shoe. Putting yourself in my shoe differs from me wearing the shoe. Sure. Yes. Literally it differs. Yes, you could empathize, but it doesn't feel like one putting on the shoe. So now that NGO setting, some persons actually do NGO for the sake of what they will get.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. But though, in 1929 to 1939, during the time that's great issue in the US, now things were so rough. So Adams Jane, the founder of social work, we refer to as a mother of social work. Then that was when she actually won a Nobel Prize for her charity work. So if you want to do charity, people should do charity for the sake of humanity. Yeah, social work is actually a service to humanity. So in my quest to bridge the gap between the government and the people here, like the downtrodden, those within the society that hand could not easily get to. So now I want to actually look at have setting up my own NGO for persons with disability, because education here is zero. If we have 20 million children out of school, so imagine person with disability, that means it's zero. So going to school for person with disability is quite challenging. It's expensive. I will tell you, you need to have a laptop for you to perform effectively. You need to have a digital recorder. So all these things. So and within the university communities too, there should be a policy to set up a good library for these persons to enhance their learning process. So my NGO, I'm looking at having an NGO that actually empowers education, because once you're educated, you have it. Because it takes an informed mind to make an informed decision. So with education, one could thrive. So you could think of it could be the area of either crafts, bead making, cosmetology. So if you want to go into the normal 4 walls of the university or college of education, based on what your brain could carry. Because every brain, as long as you could read and write, as long as you could think, it could bring out something positive and meaningful. So it boils down to like looking for these persons so that we could literally make Abuja clean, make Nigeria clean. People actually litter beg here and there. Why? There should be provision for these persons. So there should be a referral system. So my NGO will look at referring persons to the right or to the resource system. You want to go to school, you can't afford your school fees. Yes, the one I will write to NTH and IFF Abuja. They will see to that. That problem is sorted. It's not regardless of your age, regardless of your tribe. That issue is big.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now that you have decided to choose education, now what kind of support do you think will help you achieve that?
Well, thank you. So, education is expensive on its own. Say, if you think education is expensive, then try ignorance. Yes. So, education on itself, the quest is expensive. Like those the paraplegic, those who move with the wheelchair. So, imagine the challenges of going to school. Have a roommate then is a pharmacy student. Do you know the challenges of using the public bathroom? So, now the education there, it has to actually involve some well-meaning individuals. They are there, they will have these good-spirited individuals. Now, making judicious use of these resources from the government down to the faith-based organization, down to everyone who cares to yes, we want to make a difference out of a person's life. I want to adopt education to ensure that this person at the end is well read.
Wow. Well, before I let you go, you are going to give us your final words, the words of advice, especially to the able-bodied youth. So what do you think they should do to help develop our nation?
Yes, okay, thank you. So the able youth out there, they should know that life begins with us or with them, as the case may be. So in navigating life, you should know yourself. Yeah, being able to identify whom you are is paramount. So you're able to know the area, though it's difficult to actually want to that self-discovery part is quite difficult. But being able to discover yourself, then you could, harness your potential. And it now translates to a better society. So there'll be less crime. So this issue of blame game will drastically reduce. Yes, because with your phone, with your phone, you could do a lot of things with AI.
Yes.
So artificial intelligence is actually there. People are doing a lot of things. You could just sit down, think of what you do, make a vibe. Now, if you have a value, people will seek for you. But once you have nothing to offer, people won't actually seek for your service. So only when you have something that people actually look for you. So look inward, think of what you can do. Something exceptional. Everybody has it in them. Is in it.
Sure, everybody. Thank you so much, Ifeanyi Emmanuel Nweke, for taking out your time to give us this wonderful information and to advise us, especially the able-bodied youth, men and women, to look inward, discover what is inside of you, and help be on a positive side. We do really appreciate your time for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you, ma. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Yes, we have been speaking with Nweke Ifeanyi Emmanuel. He is a social worker. And like I told you, we all know that he is visually impaired. And we looked at ability in disabilities. He has talked to us extensively. Look inward, discover yourself, and make sure you bring the positive things to the table to make sure our country develop the way we want it to be. Now we are going to go on this quick break. When we return, the program continues.